Hello and welcome to the video, and today we're going to be talking about a higher MMR tier list for all of the heroes in Deadlock. If you guys find this video helpful, make sure to drop that like as well as a sub to the channel. It would help me out a lot and I would really appreciate it. About 99% of you guys are not subbed already, which is a crazy number, so I'm trying to get that down. I also want to mention that this is a solo queue tier list, so this is based on solo queuing, you pick this character, and how good of a chance you have at winning, essentially. So first up we have Abrams. Abrams is a great character. He does tons of damage early game, very oppressive. His shotgun does probably a little bit too much damage if you build it for weapon damage. For that reason, I'm going to be putting him in S. A lot of people say it's too easy to parry him, but honestly, a good Abrams is going to bait out a parry, even if they go the melee build, but gun build is just as good. Then we have Bebop. I want to put Bebop higher just because of his ult. His ult got buffed. It does crazy damage. You just build Mystic Leap, jump up in the air, and fry everybody. He's also very oppressive early game when he's laning because he can grab you, and if he's in the dual lane, you're essentially just dead. Especially if they have someone like Abrams. He pulls you into an Abrams, you get charged into a wall, punched, you're deceased. We have Dynamo. Dynamo is the first SS tier amazing hero. He builds Refresher, and you can kind of have your ults at all times. He has knockups, he has heals. If your team is somewhat coordinated, you don't even need a whole lot of coordination to make Dynamo great. He's even better with coordination. Even the smallest bit of comms in solo queue games will hard carry you through the lower MMR, all the way up to higher MMR just by his ults and Refresher. Then we have Grey Talon. Grey Talon's alright, not great. I kind of want to put Grey Talon in C tier just because someone's got to go there. He has good damage and everything, but he's just like a worse Vindicta, it feels like a much worse Vindicta. Then we have Haze. Haze is a pretty good solo carry as well. You go Silencer, you go Unstoppable, and you ult people, and they just drop dead. You're also building her like ADC damage as well, so you're just ripping structures down. You can very easily turn an entire game around by an enemy team all going for mid-boss. You drop down the hatch up top, Silencer, Unstoppable, ult, you'll literally kill all of them. They have no chance of doing anything unless they also have Unstoppable and are expecting this to happen, which is just not likely. But it can happen, especially if people are outside of the pit. Like I said, we have Infernus. I think Infernus is very good. He does crazy damage. His burn is ridiculous. It lasts a very long time. Very good at laning because he can poke very well. Infernus definitely S tier, probably bottom of the S tier. You could probably make a case for top of the A tier. Then we have Ivy. I don't think Ivy's that good. She's good at securing the urn, and I feel like that's about it. I mean, I know she does good like structure damage. She's built like an ADC, and that's kind of solid, but overall I feel like she's just like a worse ADC in all ways than someone like Haze. But she is pretty good for getting that urn, but again, you need communication to make that happen, and it's also just not that valuable. We then have Kelvin. Kelvin just got nerfed, but he's just really good. His ice beam slows you like crazy. You're like literally a snail walking around, and it does like 1,000 damage in 2 seconds, which is just nuts. So he's very good. Then we have Geist. Geist is probably the worst character in the game. Essentially all Geists know how to do is walk forward. They just W key you when they're losing a fight and press 4, but all you have to do is silence her, and then she doesn't exist anymore. Then we have Lash. Lash is very good. Crazy damage, best mobility probably in the entire game, right up there with Kelvin. And he just flies around the map, lands on people. Very good early game, does tons of damage. Lash is very good. We then have McGinnis. I've seen McGinnis turret builds. I've actually just recently gone against a McGinnis turret build. I walked up to her, she had like 3 turrets down. I didn't know she had 3 turrets down, but I ulted her, and I am not even kidding, the turrets out damaged me. And we were around the same farm, so that's kind of crazy. But overall, like, McGinnis is still not that good. The turrets are incredibly annoying to deal with, but that's as far as it goes. I feel like you can't solo carry with McGinnis. Then we have Moe and Krill. Moe and Krill is excellent, but Moe and Krill takes a little bit of coordination. Your ult is useless if no one's around to take advantage of it, and whereas it's very good in team play, I would definitely put Moe and Krill up here if you had a somewhat team, like even a duo. But solo queue, Moe and Krill is not as good. You're not going to be able to carry as hard because you do need someone around. Moe and Krill is like a heavy support-based hero, and in team fights, Moe and Krill really shines. But a lot of times in solo queue, team fights are a disaster, and everyone's kind of everywhere with not a whole lot of coordination. So Moe and Krill kind of falls off in that aspect. On the highest MMR, though, where there is more team play and coordination, definitely SS tier. Then we have Paradox. Paradox is really good. The swap is excellent. Takes A little bit of team play, like I said before. In a well-coordinated team, you could make an argument for S tier, but we're going to go in A tier. It's kind of harder to solo carry with Paradox, even though she's an excellent hero. We have Pocket. Pocket is very, very, very good. Most Pockets build with tons of movement. The barrage thing does a lot of damage, and he could just hop in a suitcase and fly away, and very, very hard to kill a good Pocket. And we have 7. 7 is like a hyper farmer. Very, very strong. You can maybe even make the argument for S tier, but S tier is getting a little crowded. So we're going to put 7 in the top of the A tier. You build 7 gun damage. You don't worry about ult 7. Like, your ultimate sucks in higher lobbies. You get hit with knockdown, and even if you go unstoppable, like, people are just going to find a way to break LOS. And for that reason, you go gun build, and gun build's crazy, crazy good. Then we have Vindicta. Vindicta is very, very strong, and she just kind of flies around and does a million gun damage. Very good hero. Then we have Warden. Warden is very strong. He has really good poke early game if you're building like spirit damage. You can just keep throwing your like AoE ability on them, and it does a lot of poke damage. His gun damage is obviously really, really good later game. He moves around very fast. Most Wardens are building him like max speed, and he's zipping around, very hard to kill. You could definitely make a case for Warden to be higher, especially since this is solo queue, but we're going to put Warden at the bottom of the A. Then we have Wraith. Wraith is probably the best 1v1 character, especially early game. She gets her ult, and if you have any sort of misplay, you're out of position even for a second, you will die. Her ultimate is just an insta-kill every single time until you can get something like Unstoppable or Ethereal Shift. So for that reason, we are putting Wraith in the S tier. You can maybe move her up past Abrams. She's just so good in 1v1 situations until you're able to get enough things online to actually counter her. Like, silencer counters her very well. Like, if you're silencer Haze, you can just silence her before she could even ult you, or you can unstoppable her ult and then just ult her and she drops dead. But also she has great getaway and her cards do a lot of damage. She's very, very, very good. We have Yamato. Yamato is really, really solid. You build Refresher, you have 2 ults, you're just alive for a very long time. You could stall out team fights, you do decent damage, you're flying around. Very hard to kill a good Yamato. She's a very solid character and pretty good for solo carrying. And we have Shiv. I'm putting Shiv in the SS tier just because I feel like for solo queuing, he's just really, really good. You could just hop on Shiv, do crazy damage in team fights, and just kind of run everybody over. Very excellent hero. He does so much damage, and he has an execute. We have Viscous. I don't really play Viscous, so I struggle to find where to put him, but I am going to put him in the S tier, probably the top of the S tier right here with Pocket. Very great hero. He does a lot of damage. His landing pressure is really, really good. His abilities can do crazy damage if you build him that way. Overall, just an excellent hero. But this is the final tier list. There are definitely a couple things that you can change. I would maybe put McGinnis down into C tier, but overall I feel like this is good. Or maybe we can swap over McGinnis and Greytown, switch them out. But that turret build is kind of crazy, man. I'm not going to lie. But again, that's pretty much it for me today. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.